In the second video, we'll show you all the remaining questions outside of the questions that we covered in the first video. So in Google Forms, there's lots of different types of questions, and depending on the quiz or the survey that you're trying to create, different questions can meet your needs. For example, the final questions that we'll cover here is the file upload, the linear scale. We'll cover the multiple choice grid and the checkbox grid, and then the date and time questions. And it'll move pretty quick. So the file upload, it allows whoever's taking the survey to be able to put a file into your form. So this could be helpful as say you're collecting a homework assignment, or if you need someone to design a form or something of that nature. They can actually upload it to your Google Drive. Now you can set certain parameters, like here we'll just say please submit a PDF, and you can choose to allow only certain file types as well. So I can click this option here and then select which type I want. For this instance, I'll select a PDF. Now, I will say that you want to be cautious when you allow file uploads, and whoever is submitting the file will need a Google account in order to submit a file. The maximum number of files, they may be able to upload multiple. The maximum file size, you'll want to set that as well because it'll take up space in your Google Drive, and you don't want to run out of space. So that's the file upload. The second option here is a this is a linear scale. In other words, and it's a better example. So I typed in my question here, how much did you enjoy the third grade? I have 1 to 10. We'll use two labels here. We'll say 1 is not at all, and we'll put best year of my life in the second box. And you'll see how that looks once we get to the visual portion of this survey. Down below, this is what we call a multiple choice grid. Now, it's kind of confusing when you're looking at it this way, but if you look at the finished product, so if I click away from it, you can see kind of how it works. So rate yourself on each of the below attributes, and I have attributes that someone could have, and then they can rate themselves on each of the attributes. So if I click inside, you can see how I've done this. So each of the rows or each of the attributes are all listed here on the left, and then how they rate themselves are the columns. So I have 1 through 5, and you'll see again how that works. Now, one thing I want to mention at this point, the multiple choice grid is the same as the checkbox grid. The difference is in the checkbox grid, you can select more than one option. Just like in the multiple choice, you could only select one option, and in the checkboxes, you could select multiple. The checkbox grid, you can select multiple, and the multiple choice grid, you can only select one option for each row. So I don't have a checkbox grid to show you, but the functionality is very much the same. Down below, I have the last two, the date and the time selections. They're very easy to understand and to add. All you have to do is select that option and write your question. I'll show you, though, the difference between this and a short answer. This is a much better option if you're actually looking to collect data in a date format. So let's go look at what the form looks like, and we'll look at these last 5 questions. All right, so if I scroll down, the first one was a file upload. So it says, please submit a PDF. And if I click add file, I'm going to get an option to upload a file. It's very easy to use, and you can upload, and notice, I'll select my PDF. I hit upload. It's going to take some time to upload. We'll go ahead and close that box. All right, so how much did you enjoy the third grade? So this is, of course, going to be similar to the multiple choice, but it's more of a rating scale. And you can put in whatever labels you want to. Okay. Next is our matrix, or our grid, our multiple choice grid. So you notice we can rate ourselves on each of these attributes. And as we select other options, it's going to deselect our previous option. That would be different if we had a checkbox grid. Finally, when is your birthday? Instead of a short answer, the date is appropriate for this because it pulls up a calendar. So we can actually select the date that we want to select. And what time were you born? You can actually put in a time. So we'll say, 3 o'clock a.m. There we go. So that's how you create those types of questions in your Google form. And yeah, now you should know them all. If you haven't checked out the first video, make sure to check it out so you can see the first few questions.